I want to ask you. I'm sitting here with Damon Fowler. You're one of the youngest people I've interviewed lately. Matter of fact, you're young enough to be my son.
All right.
So my question is, what kind of music do your parents listen to?
Well, my parents, my mom is a big Leon Russell fan. And that's where I got that influence from. I just grown up around that. My mother and I grew up at my grandparents' house. And so my grandparents had a septic tank business.
That's a shitty business.
It was shitty, yeah. Number one and the number two business. You know? But I had a bunch of uncles and stuff, and my mom and I lived there. My parents were married, but then they split up right before I was born, and so I ended up growing up with my grandparents. And my mom was there, and she was a parental figure for me as my mother, but I also had my grandparents too, so I had 3 parental figures.
Cool. So what did your grandparents listen to?
They listened to bluegrass, and they listened to country music.
Old country?
Yeah, like old country and stuff.
Cool. Which is blues?
Which is blues, you know, it's just, you know, one way you pitch it or the other, you know. My mother really was like a big Willie Nelson fan. She still is a Willie Nelson fan. Leon Russell, you know, that kind of songwriter, that kind of stuff, you know. So that's what I heard as just a little kid. I saw Alabama and George Strait and, you know, of course, Willie Nelson. One time, my grandfather, doing work for the fair, the Florida State Fair and the Strawberry Festival in Tampa, he did some work for Bill Monroe. Because all the people that were traveling with the Strawberry Festival and the fair would come through and they needed their septic tanks pumped. It was my grandfather's business. He was a good networker, so he'd go up there and talk to him. And he had all these accounts, you know. And he had the fair was his account. So he'd go up there and pump anybody that had the fair. And so he goes up there and Bill Monroe's there playing. And so I remember my grandfather got us tickets, you know. And I remember as a little kid, and I wasn't even playing music yet. You know, I just got stuck going to the fair with my grandparents and my mom, and we saw Bill Monroe and hung out and got to hang out. And you know, I remember my grandparents being like, "Now, you know, talk, you know, shake his hand, be nice, you know."
Oh, cool!
So I got to meet Bill Monroe, which was really cool.
Excellent. Well, you were telling me that you've been playing since you were about 18, so that means you've been basically kind of touring for about 15 years or more.
Well, here's the deal: I've actually been playing since I was 10. I've been playing guitar since I was 10. I've been playing professionally since I graduated high school.
So 18. So you've been on the road basically for, how old did you say you were, 35?
I'm 34. I'm going to be 35.
So 17 years
Yep.
on the road. Who's your favorite band to tour with?
My favorite band, like band that I'm in, or just a band that
Band that you guys open with or share the stage with?
Oh man, you know, there's a lot of bands. Like, you know, bands are fun. The Blues Cruise is cool because you get to share it with a lot of people, and like festivals are cool, so you get to run into a lot of bands.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
our favorite too.
and you end up making friends, and you know, it's just like a great meeting. You know, every few months that you run into your friends, and you get to party and jam and stuff. You know, George Thorogood was really nice. They were really kind to us, you know, and it was like he's, you know, on a level more so than we've ever seen before. You know, the guy's got hits and
Packs the house,
and you know, you don't need didn't even really need an opening band. So that was cool. You know, B.B. King was really nice. Class act kind of guy.
Are you playing at B.B. King's in New York when you go up there?
No, we're not. I'd like to. We're playing the Rockledge Music Hall, and we're playing, I think, for Relics Magazine.
Awesome. What musician, past or present, would you like to jam with that you haven't jammed with yet?
A musician, past or present, that I haven't jammed with that I would like to jam with. You know, I'd like to jam with Lucas Nelson.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your funniest or most embarrassing moment on stage?
Oh, man. Are you kidding? I've had a bunch of this. Funny or embarrassing? I mean, there's been all sorts of. You get so many moments on stage. All right, one time we were playing, and this was not. It's not funny. Okay, this is not a funny story, and it's not embarrassing for me. But this is a story that sticks out in my mind. This is a story
that'll work.
So I'm playing in Prescott, Arizona, and it's a Sunday afternoon. There's no one there, you know. It's a really long bar, narrow, and the stage is about 6 feet off the ground, and like a metal cage looking thing. It was called the bird cage. And so we, you know, this is one of our first tours out west, and you're tired, you're at your wit's end, you're just complete, you know, every day you're driving as many hours. I'm sleeping on the floor. People are ripping you off. You're eating popcorn for dinner. It's just terrible, right? So we're there, and there's the bartender, and then there's this guy, and that's it in the bar. So we start playing though, because they were going to put us up. They were putting us up at a house, and they were going to feed us, and you know, it made our tour work together. You know, and it was just like, this is kind of what we got to do. So we go up there and we start playing, and the one dude at the bar is just like, and he's hammered. Dude's been drinking in the sun in the desert all day or something, you know. So he's like, Anagata de Vida. And so after about 3 songs, you know, and it's just us and him, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know it, man. And, you know, I dig it, but I don't know it, you know. So sorry, bro. You know, hang out though. Let's play some more stuff, you know. We do another song. He's like, Anagata de Vida. And so this goes on for like 3 or 4 more times, until finally the bartender looks at him. He goes, the dude goes, Anagata de Vida. And so the bartender goes, if you don't shut the hell up, I'm going to kick your ass the hell out of here. You know, so the guy looks at the bartender, and he goes, you can go fly an umbrella. Right? And like, we're on the stage like 6 feet above everything, like looking at him, watching this go down, you know. And the guy's like, you can go fly an umbrella. And he spit a little bit when he said it, you know, but he was just hammered and silly. And so the bartender jumps over from behind the bar, man, and just gets this dude, man, and picks him up by the back of the pants and just drags him. He's dragging him out. And this guy, it was just funny because by that point, the drunk dude had just given up and was like, okay, just have at it, you know. And he's just like dragging him out of the bar, you know. And the next thing you know, he's like, he throws him out, you know. And we're like, holy shit, that's crazy.
Threw the whole crowd out.
Yeah, you threw our whole crowd out, you know, but whatever. So we wrote this song. It was called He Kicked His Ass Out. And it was a big hit that day with us and the bartender. The bartender loved it. Ironically, about 9 months, 10 months later, I get a phone call from a lawyer that was like, hey man, did you play a bar in Prescott, Arizona, and a client of mine was thrown out? And the guy was suing the people for like a couple $100,000 or something, just, you know. And I told him, I was like, man, he was crazy and hammered and annoying, and, you know, and I didn't see anybody get hurt. You know, but that was, man, it was just a crazy, like, and it was a story that sucked you in. It was like, draws you in, and, like, it's still ongoing. It's
That's
crazy.
very cool.
Yeah.
Normally I ask what are your plans for a new album, but you just had one release, what was it, Thursday?
I just released a new record Thursday. We're really proud of it. Tab Benoit produced it. Big Chief Monk Boudreaux,
I heard him.
sang a verse on it, and he played some percussion on it. It's been a really positive experience for us. We've had a great time making the record, and we're starting a tour now, and everything's been really positive. So
Excellent.
looking forward to it.
Excellent. What's your favorite band or artist other than your own bands that's come out in the last 10 years?
Band or artist? There's a few people, and I go through spells of it. I like, there's a guitar player named Red Volkart.
I've heard of him.
He lives in Texas, and he used to play for Merle Haggard. He's played for a bunch of folks, and he's just a badass guitar player guy. Bands.
Or artist.
I like
Let me change it up. Different kind of music.
different. Well, you know, I like all that stuff. I like Paul Thorne a lot. There's a guy named Martin Sexton. He's really great. He's a great songwriter. I'm a huge Willie Nelson fan. That's about it.
Okay. let's see here. Other than yourself, who's your favorite guitar player?
There's a guy named Eddie Wright.
Who's he play with?
Well, he lives in Florida. He lives in Tampa, basically. Brandon. And he's just a good friend of mine. And I always find myself learning new things from him.
Excellent. Is that somebody that other people would know of? Or just
In
the local
Central
area?
Florida. I
Okay.
think Central Florida. You know, we write songs together and stuff, too. But
Excellent.
He's one of my favorite players.
Okay. What's your favorite venue to play in and why?
The reason why is because of the sound. You know, it's just the comfortability of sound and stuff. And there's a couple. And there's for different reasons, too, you know. I love playing Skippers in Tampa because it's our hometown gig. And we see a lot of friendly faces. That's something we've been developing there for a long time. There's a place in Lakeland called the Music Ranch that has a really...
We know of that?
We end up sounding good there. There's a really good sound and there's a great vibe there, too. But other than that, I would say theaters and stuff like Ruth Eckerd Hall is really nice.
Did you like the Plaza Theater?
Plaza Theater is really nice, yeah.
Sound was great, lighting was wonderful.
Yeah.
Lighting was
Exactly.
really good.
It's the same kind of deal, you know.
Do you ever feel like your arm's going to fall off, and what do you do about it?
Not for a long time because I just, you know, tough.
You build up a...
Yeah,
Just, and you're young enough that you don't get there.
Well, you know what's funny is on my left arm I was in a wreck and I have like check this out, man. I've got like almost like a big fucking deltoid.
Car or bike?
It was a van. It was a van just like this, and it was a bad wreck and shit. And so my arm, I had to develop it again, you know.
Yeah.
And so anymore, the arm doesn't feel like falling off. I'm good.
That's good. Okay. Yeah. All right. This one's a killer. What one interview question would you like to answer that no one ever asked you?
All right. No one has ever asked me, and I think it would be an interesting question, like, how do you digest music?
And what's your answer?
I digest music in different ways. Sometimes when I'm driving, it normally doesn't happen around a bunch of people. I'm an only child, and I do things like when I can really get things done a lot of times just when I'm kind of like things are quiet and I'm alone. And so like listening to music, stuff that I really either I'm listening to just for whatever reason or something that I really enjoy. You know, sometimes if I'm driving by myself, it's really, really great. And then sometimes if we're in that mindset where we're making music, like in a studio or something, and you're in a studio like where the speakers are, where you're listening back to it, you know, and you turn the lights down and you've been working all day on it, and then you come back, you go have dinner or something, and you come back and you're like, all right, let's listen to what we did today, and you sit there and you listen to it, you know, that's a really cool way to get it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Damon, I thank you very much. It was awesome.
Absolutely.
Enjoyed it. Glad we got to see you, and wish you the very best of luck on your new album.
Thanks. Thank you.
That was awesome. I will